10 reasons why I love not having children. Let's get into it. If you haven't met me before, if you've randomly just come across this video, my name is Danny, Danny Duncan, and I am, I guess, a child-free creator. I talk a lot about my decision not to have kids online. When I was 30, I started to think about when I was going to have kids and realized I didn't think that I actually wanted to have them. And then it was about a 2 to 3 year process of me being on the fence and kind of going back and forward. And now that I'm 34, I am 100% not going to have kids. It's not happening. And I like to share about the more positive, amazing things about my life and the reasons why I love not having kids. I think a lot of people like to project, especially onto women, that we're going to be lonely, old people who have no joy in life. It mainly comes from the conservative men of the world, but I like to show that you can have a really beautiful and fulfilled life being a woman and not having kids. And so today I'm sharing 10 reasons, I mean there's many reasons, but these are 10 reasons I've written down why I love not having kids. So let's get into it. Number one, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but it's my independence and being alone, which is a little bit ironic when you think about how people often say to child-free people, you're going to be so lonely. But loneliness and being alone is quite different. And I personally like being alone. When you have children, from what I've seen, they take up quite a lot of your time. I mean, a baby is totally reliant on its parents. A toddler, you need to be constantly watching over them. My sister messaged our family chat the other day, and my nephew had used Vivid, or biro, permanent marker, whatever you call it, to scribble on the carpet, on the table, over a lot of things. Like, they're literally having to replace the carpet because he scribbled on it because she just wasn't watching him for like 2 minutes. So children just take up quite a lot of your time, and I'm not somebody that wants to give up my time. I really like being alone. I like being in my own space. I like my own company. I like kind of doing things on my own schedule, my own time. Of course, I love being with other people, but not constantly. And I think when you have children, it is quite constant. And even when they're teenagers, they're loud. I am one of 4 kids. Our house was not quiet. So one of my biggest things is being alone and having my independence and not giving that up. And I don't want to give that up. And I admire the mums of the world so much for their devotion of time to their kids. But I just don't want to do that. So being alone and independence is probably one of my top reasons. I guess one thing I do want to say is I know a lot of people are scared of being alone or like scared of not having family. And I just want to remind you that you have chosen family. You don't, like, I think especially in this Western culture, we really look at like the, what's it called? Nuclear family. But you can have a chosen family. You can have people around you that love and care for you and support you, and you have a lot to do with that aren't necessarily like mum, dad, 2 kids. So whenever somebody tries to tell you like, oh, aren't you worried about being alone? Aren't you worried about not having people to care for you? I think that's irrelevant. I actually think that we need to stop looking at kids as the answer to not being alone. I don't actually think that's very healthy. But anyway, first one, being alone and my independence. The second one is my career. And my haters are going to say, well, you don't have a career, you don't have a real job. They do say that. But I do have a job. My job is working online. I've been doing this for maybe 4 years now. I do it full time. It pays my bills. I'm so grateful for this job. I used to be a speech language therapist, and about 4 years ago, I started sharing online, and now I do like quite a lot of different things involved with that, and I love it. I love being able to be creative every day. I love being quite flexible in the things that I do. I like being able to travel for work. I really love my job. But yeah, I think my career is something that I don't want to give up, and I don't necessarily think as a mother you have to give your career up to have kids. But I do think things change. I think that obviously you've got to take a little bit of time off. I think me personally in my job, it would look quite different if I had kids in terms of like my time, my flexibility, etc., etc. So my career for me is something that I want to hold on to. And also, I like to change things up quite a bit. I mean, as I said, I was a speech language therapist. Now I'm doing this. And I think I would not be able to, like, I would need a more stable job in terms of consistent income if we were going to have kids, because financially it's a lot. And we would need to know that those finances were coming in. And my job can be a little bit like this. So I would literally probably have to change what I'm doing, or at least go into consistent part-time work, which means I wouldn't have time to do things like this. So I think my job is a big thing. I think that people like to look down upon women who really enjoy working, who really like, devoting their time to that. And so this is my little middle finger to that, because there's nothing wrong with working. There's nothing wrong with loving your job. And I'm definitely somebody that loves it. Number 3 is the ability to be spontaneous. I love that I can get up in the morning, and if I want to go out for a coffee, all I need to take is my phone, my keys, my wallet. I just go. I love on a Friday night or any night of the week, and someone messages me and says, hey, do you want to go out for a drink? I can just be like, cool, let's go. I don't like structure. I think if you are to have kids, your life is a lot more structured, and you have to really plan things in advance. You've got to think about babysitters. You've got to think about all of the different things to line up in order for something to happen. And I don't want to have to do that. Like, I love being able to be spontaneous. I love being able to just go out the door if something comes up. So spontaneity is definitely a big one. Number 4, kind of touched on this in terms of money, but disposable income. Having kids is bloody expensive. All of the things add up, and we're living in a time where just to live alone is expensive. So whatever spare money we do have, and people are going to say that this is selfish, but I love being able to spend it on us. We have just moved into our house, and I like being able to spend money on, I guess, frivolous things. I bought this lamp. Isn't it so cute? It was kind of expensive. I got it off Etsy, but we have the money to be able to do those kinds of things. I do know that other people are, rich, and so of course they can do that as well, but I'm not rich. We are not super wealthy. I mean, we have enough money to live, and we have enough money to enjoy life, but if we would have kids, things would definitely have to change. As I said, I would have to go into more secure work in terms of what's coming in regularly. We wouldn't be able to go out as much as we do. We wouldn't be able to go on as many holidays as we do. I wouldn't be able to buy things for my house, which I really love doing. So disposable income, as much as people are going to say that's really selfish, I'm not going to shy away from it. I love having the extra money, and I would rather spend it on things other than nappies and baby food and whatever else you have to buy for kids. Okay, what are we up to? Number 5, and this is something that I hold very dear to myself, and it's being an auntie. I am an auntie to 4 kids. So there's 3 girls, 1 boy, and they are my world. I love them so much. I see them most weeks, sometimes multiple times a week. They're all pretty little. They're all 4 and under. Wait, how old? Yeah, I think my niece is about to turn 4. And I love them. And I love that I have the capacity and the time and the energy and the money to invest into them. And I imagine that that is going to be something that I hold really dear to me as I get older, and as they get older. And it's something, I think that, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't be a really amazing auntie if you do have kids. However, I think there's something about not having your own kids, but having other kids that you invest into. There's something really special about that. I can't really put it into words, but I just love being an auntie. And I also think it's cool because, when I'm with them, I am 100% like devoted to giving my time to them. And I'm a little, like, they call me crazy Auntie Danny because I will run around with them. I will dance with them. I will pull them around on a blanket. I was doing that last weekend. I'm not saying you can't do these things when you do have kids of your own, but I definitely know that the energy and the kind of like capacity that I have, I'm so glad that I can give that all to them. And I kind of don't have to like share it also with having my own kids, if that makes sense. So being an auntie. Number 6, and I'm putting this in there as a bit of my own ad. We shall say that this part of the video is sponsored. It's not actually sponsored. It's being sponsored by me, but solo holidays. And the reason why I'm putting this in there is because I'm so lucky. I reached out to a company called Flashpack at the beginning of this year, and I said to them, hey, would you guys be interested in me hosting some child-free holidays? They came back to me and they're like, yeah, cool, yeah, let's make this happen. And I was like, whoa, okay, I was not expecting it to happen that quickly, for one, but also it's just been amazing. So the reason why I'm telling you about this, just hold on for a second. So in October, I'm going to the Philippines with 15 other people who don't have kids. That trip is sold out, but I am also going to be going to Europe. We're going to Portugal and Turkey, and I'm also going to do some other little travel in there by myself. But yeah, we're going on solo travel trips together with other child-free people. So everybody's just coming on their own. They don't know each other. They're complete strangers, and they get to go traveling with other people that are child-free. So if you want to come to that, I will put the link to my landing page in the description. Feel free to ask me any questions about it. You can DM me on Instagram as well. But yeah, that's my little sponsorship. They're not actually sponsoring this video, but I just wanted to put it in there. But it genuinely is something that I'm really excited about. I never traveled when I was in my 20s. I didn't really get the opportunity to do that. And if I was having kids now, I also wouldn't have the opportunity to go and travel on my own. My husband's not coming. I'm going on my own. Well, I'm going with other people that don't have kids. But it's still solo travel. And I love that I can now do those things as an adult, especially now that I have more money. Whereas if I had kids, I would have to put it off even more. So solo travel, and if you want to come with me, check out the link in the description. Honestly, this space is still available, and I would love you to come to Europe. Okay, number 7, not having a home with kids' rooms or kids' stuff in it. We have recently bought this house, and it's got 3 bedrooms, and I love that we can make other bedrooms into other rooms for us. They don't have to be kids' bedrooms. So one room is kind of like the spare bedroom / a wardrobe room, so it's where all my clothes are, and the other room is an office / reading room. We're still doing that room up, but my home and my space and the aesthetics of my place and the things that we put in it are quite important to me. It's something that I put a lot of value in, and I think it would be really different if we had kids. I mean, I was just at my mum's earlier. She's like, oh, I'd really like to put stuff on the tables, but I can't do that because the kids would get it, as in my nieces and my nephew, because they're at her house all the time. And that would happen if I was a mum. I wouldn't be able to put all my knickknacks out. This is made out of I can't remember what the raffia, I think that's how you say it. This is something that a kid would ruin 100%. Or my glass, I wouldn't be able to just have glasses around because they'd knock them off, they'd break stuff. So that is definitely something that I love. I guess maybe a little bit more of a light-hearted one, but I love not having kid stuff in my home. Number 8. Now, this one's, I guess, a little bit more of a deeper one, a little bit more of a more serious one, and one I guess potentially I have to put a trigger warning on because I'm going to be talking about body image. I'm somebody who does care about the way that I look. And it's kind of weird saying that online and owning up to that, but I do care, in terms of I am susceptible to caring too much and to taking actions that wouldn't be healthy for me. And I know that having a child into the mix with that, and everything that happens when you are pregnant and what happens afterwards, I think I would find that really hard. and I'm just being honest, I would find that really hard. And I like knowing that, I guess, I mean, your body does change as you get older, but I feel relatively in control of my body. And I know that when you have a baby, things change a lot. I mean, I think, does it take like 2 years or something? They say it takes 2 years, I think, for a woman's body to kind of go back, not go back to the way that it was, but to heal completely. And I don't want to have to go through that. Pregnancy freaks me out. I'm just being honest. And giving birth freaks me out. I mean, I'm sure it does for a lot of people that do it as well, but I'm just really glad that I don't have to. So yeah, I guess that is like a bit of more of a heavy reason, but knowing that I never have to put my body through that is something that I am quite happy about. Number 9 is quietness. If I was to be really quiet right now, the only thing you would hear is my cat licking itself. Can you hear that? I'm not sure. But anyway, the point is it's relatively quiet. I've always been somebody that's that has struggled quite a bit with noise. Like if the houses around me are having parties, or I can hear like music, or even sleeping, I just like things to be very, very quiet. I function better in quietness. I function better when I can control the noise around me. I just know that when you have kids, they are noisy. Babies crying a lot, toddlers whining a lot, teenagers partying a lot. All of it is quite a noisy thing. Having kids is noisy. And I quite like that my house is nice and quiet. And the only person I need to tell to be quiet is my little cat who is licking itself. And even that is very quiet. So number 9 is quiet. Okay, number 10. A little bit of a hard one to put into words, but I guess I like that I'm doing things differently. And in the sense that I feel like I have a bit of an identity, and whether this is a good or a bad thing, but I have an identity in being somebody that's child-free, and knowing that I'm not going along with what society expects of me, what conservative men expect of me, what closed-minded people expect of me. I almost kind of enjoy knowing that I'm not doing what's expected of me. And I'm not sure how to like put that number 10 into like a concise thing. And I'm not sure if anyone else feels the same way, but I love knowing that when, you know, these politicians or these conservative men talk about the child-free woman of the world and they, you know, look down upon us, I'm proud. Like, I'm so proud to be somebody that is not doing something just because somebody expects it of me. And that is number 10. I'm so proud of it. And I want other people to be proud of it too. I want other people to be proud that they are doing something that they want to do, that they're making a choice that's right for them. And at the end of the day, that is what I want my content to be about. I want it to be about people knowing that they have a choice and being really proud of that choice and feeling like they have the power to make that choice. So I'm not sure how we put that into words so that I can add it up here, but that is number 10. So those are my 10 reasons. Of course, there's so many more, and I talk about them a lot on Instagram and TikTok, and, you know, in a joking way, in a serious way, but I thought it would be fun to share them here with you today. I would love to know what your reasons are. If you've got any, while I was talking, if you were thinking of anything, pop them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I would love if you also subscribed to my channel. I also do a lot of homeware stuff, fashion, but if there's anything that you do want me to talk about in terms of being child-free, please let me know. I have a question and answer that I did a little while back if you want to go and see that video. But yeah, that's my 10 reasons why I love not having children.